Years ago today.
Charlotte, thank you for those headlines. Now, let's reflect on the World Cup later on. But let's get the rest of the day's news now. Charlotte's waiting for us.
Thanks, Mark. The US government says it's detected seepage from the cap on the leaking oil pipe in the Gulf of Mexico. Integrity tests on the cap had been carried out.
Time for all the showbiz stories in the papers. Joining us, Katie Nicholl, who's the Mail on Sunday's diary editor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in.
It's lovely to be with you.
We're going to start with the McCartneys. Now, I seem to remember Stella McCartney having a go at Dad about sending her to the local comp.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Stella famously called Sir Paul tight for sending her...
Or words to that effect.
Yes. I've been polite, yeah. For sending her and all of her siblings to the local comprehensive in East Sussex, where they were, of course, all raised and brought up. Not that it did them any harm, because I've met most of the McCartney children, and Mary and Stella especially are really lovely, grounded, down-to-earth girls. And Stella has given an interview in which she's explained that she has this constant dilemma. She's got 3 young children, all of whom are now going through the private education system. Now, Stella lives in Notting Hill, so if she was going to send the kids to a comprehensive, it would be probably a tough inner-city school, and she decided that that wasn't what she wanted for her children. But I think because of the comments that she has so famously gone on record for having made, this puts her in the firing line, really.
Mr. Cameron saying something very similar, of course, doesn't live too far away.
Absolutely. And the problem is, I suppose, for all of these celebrities and our Prime Minister, is that they're in a very trendy part of London. The thing is, the schools do not reflect the housing in the area, so really they don't have much choice. So I think, actually, the case of Stella, she sends her eldest child to a very, very well-to-do school, private school, that Elle Macpherson also sends her children to as well. So there's no shying away from this fact. I mean, she's photographed frequently.
With a sort of moral standpoint.
Well, it does. It does. And what she's saying is that if they get too posh and come home saying, yes, thank you very much, Mummy, she's going to yank them out very quickly.
Right. You wonder how she's going to measure it, don't you, really?
Well, absolutely. I think the quote that she says, yes, if they come back saying too posh, if at any stage they look like they're becoming total jerks...
So if they want their crust cut off their sandwiches, that's it?
That's it, then they're going to go to the local comprehensive instead. So they need to watch themselves.
Her local comp that she went to probably was a very nice one.
Thomas Peacock, lovely school.
Yes, we were just saying
it's got a great Wurlitzer organ in the school hall. Got all the things that you can pull and push.
There are comprehensives and comprehensives.
There are, and sadly, London's inner city ones are not that great. So.
Daily Mirror, Strictly Some Dance here. Sort of performance-related pay for the next series, is that right?
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. I mean, Strictly is a huge success, and the problem is that previously they've made promises of huge payouts to stars. I think Martina Hingis was paid £50,000. I mean, she was out after the first, I think it was the first week or something. So this is going to be based on performance. So you basically have to dance to keep yourself in, and the longer you stay in this competition, the more you get paid, which actually makes sense, and it's probably going to end up saving the BBC a lot of money. So I think this is probably quite a good idea.
But don't they have to make all the frocks up to start with and have a sort of complete rail for the whole...
Well, they
do.
Just
Frank Bruno,
well, they do, and I remember on the last series there were all the cat fights, weren't there? Again, who was going to have, you know, the frocks with the most sequins and the highest slash on the thigh and everything else.
A bit like here then, really, isn't it?
But I think
no, not at
all. Right, moving swiftly on, it's Lobster Watch, as we called it, with Wayne in the sun.
Yes, well, actually, I am going to take my hat off to Wayne because he's in Vegas with Colleen, having a very nice holiday after the disastrous World Cup. He'd need a holiday after that. But he's got his cap on and he's wearing factor 20 or 30. He must be wearing factor 50 because he's milk bottle white compared to Colleen.
Well, there are some red patches, and we were actually reflecting whether factor 20 is enough for Las Vegas.
Because he's in the mirror and they've managed to make him look quite red and blotchy.
Yeah. Yes, I know, and only in parts as well. So if he has been putting the sun cream on, he hasn't been doing a very good job. But at least he's got his hat on, and I get so annoyed when I see these celebrities coming back and they're, you know, they are so tanned. Everyone goes out and tries to copy them, and you wonder why we've got such high rates of skin cancer in the UK.
Well, indeed.
I say stick to the factor 30.
We're still in medical matters because Cheryl Cole clearly has been very, very ill.
Yes, not
Sun
a
says
well
she's got
girl.
24-hour nursing.
Well, she's just come out of hospital. She was diagnosed with malaria, which, you know, if you catch it and it's not caught early, can be fatal.
Indeed.
So she's been very unwell. She's dropped a lot of weight, and she has got a 24-hour nurse at her house in Surrey. Of course, Ashley's away, so there's no chance of those two bumping into each other. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I suspect that probably wouldn't help her road to recovery. But let's wish her better. Anyway. Yes, wish her better, and hope she gets back to X Factor.
There's a bit of a debate amongst royal circles about this £1.4 million for for Prince William's security. Now, you can understand why they need the security, but this is because he's decided to live off base up at Anglesey.
Yes, that's right. And Prince William was training as an RAF search and rescue helicopter pilot, but he has made the decision to live in a private cottage, so he has privacy and, of course, so that Kate Middleton can go and visit him. Well, that's all very well, but when it's costing the taxpayer £1.4 million at a time when the Queen is having to make cuts, the civil list have been frozen, you have to wonder, is it really necessary? I think Prince William really needs to be leading by example, and I think he should move back to the barracks.
And very quickly, Jordan storms into the charts at...
Yes, a dismal number 60. This was not a good weekend for Katie Price. I was watching her play polo at the weekend, and I suggest that she stays on the polo and on horseback, where she's very good, and perhaps leaves the singing career or the miming
last week and said, I know I can't sing, but I'm going to have a go anyway.
Well, she had a go, but I think once is enough.
She had a go and it's gone.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
You're welcome.
Plenty of emails, surprise, surprise, on this issue of the burqas.
Yes, it's got lots of people talking this morning. Meg Joyce says, I think they should be banned. We can't go over to other countries and wear what we want to there, so why should they here? Reverend Simon Tillotson says, I totally agree a ban would be un-British. We have to give women total freedom to express their beliefs, or we undermine our integrity as a civilised society. Chris in Manchester says it's people who should decide this, not MPs. And also, on this subject of the big society, David Cameron's plans, Michael says the big society is a good idea, but it could lead to widespread corruption if it's not regulated properly. Ellis Dean says the problem with giving the power to the people is that people are generally stupid and right-wing, and that's why we have politicians, so says Ellis Dean. And finally, Alan Varndale is also saying, rather sceptically this morning, OK, but how much will it cost me?
Well, there's the question. Yes, there goes the taxpayer, indeed. Thank you for those. What about the weather as we head towards the start of the week? I saw a few red little boxes in terms of temperatures, but not for all.
No, what do you mean by red boxes? You mean temperatures?
28, I saw. Is that right?
82 Fahrenheit, not bad, is it?
I was watching.
Yeah, you're watching, that's good. Anything else you remember?
No, you're going to tell us now anyway.
Yeah, I have. I've got all the details for you now. Counties at risk of a few rumbles of thunder, and then tomorrow that rain edges its way back into the Midlands. For the north and west, sunshine and showers.
Weather updates, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Katie and the rest of our Sunrise team, thank you very much indeed. And stay with us for Live Desk. Sarah's going to update us with our exclusive report on Afghanistan. Stay with us.